Trusting yourself with the loving energy. The Loving Energy newsletter, horse issue number 6. 1. Hello Religion Stir Fry. 2. The Divine reveals no religions. 3. Rather can believe is have, no can believe is not have. 4. Second Pyramid Transmission, Addition, Faith. 5. I follow myself. One. Hello Religion Stir Fry. Hello everyone. Welcome to the Loving Energy newsletter, horse issue number 6, which is going to be about religions. I learned from the time I lived in London that religion is one of the topics better left alone because it can lead to arguments. Why would you want to talk about it then, I hear you say? Well, because I want to make my position clear due to a request I received for my Greek YouTube channel. You see, a subscriber asked me to include more non-religious content. I was confused for a while. What religious contents do I have? All those sitting with saints guided meditations. All those thumbnails featuring a saint's head wrapped in a light bubble with abundance of candles and crosses in the background. I don't know how I missed the obvious religious theme there. I think perhaps because I grew up in a religion stir-fry. When I was growing up, we had 4 shrines at home, one for our ancestors, one for the spirit of the land in our home, one for the spirit of the land outside our home, and one for the spirit of the space, and we zhongheng, insert incense, or gave incense offering every new and full moon, and on all the important Zitling, seasonal markers like winter solstice, and Zityat, festivals like the spring festival. The shrines were folk religion. The way we gave offerings was Taoist, and the days we gave offerings were a combination of Taoist, Buddhist, and Confucian. When my mom could be bothered, or when my mom thought our year hadn't gone so well, we would go to Wangtai Temple, a Taoist temple, to insert incense during Chinese New Year. Wangtai Temple was simply the temple with good reputation closest to our home. If we had lived near a good Buddhist temple, we probably would have gone there instead. The primary school I went to was funded by the Catholic Church, and the secondary school I went to was funded by a Protestant Christian church, and so, of course, we had Bible lessons, sang hymns, and prayed to the Bible God. No one explained the differences between the churches to us. I only guessed that some of them took their religion very seriously when my primary school teacher told my mom not to let me join my brother at his Protestant secondary school, even though it was an excellent school just a 5-minute walk from our home. My mom yesed my teacher and said she would think about it. When the teacher left, she said how funny my teacher couldn't guess that we inserted incense at home and we didn't care about their churches. When I was a teenager, my little cousin came and lived with us for a couple of years. He went to a kindergarten in an affluent area because that kindergarten was funded by a Japanese Buddhist organization and his family were members. Very often, he came home with the cutest Japanese snacks and I was envious. I saw the shrine, which was housed in a beautiful shiny black cabinet. Unlike our red ones that looked like they belonged in ghost movies. The incense sticks were dainty with a delicate fragrance, while ours were rough and pungent. I asked my mom if we could believe in this Japanese religion. Mom said that while the religion was free, the members had to spend a lot of money on the shrine and other shrine-related materials like those incense I adored. Well, since my mom was the one who decided who got to eat snacks and when, and I was always invited for our snack-sharing activities at home, I dropped the matter. So you see, I do not see religions. Sure, I'm aware of their existence, but for me, it's about practicality like what is convenient, what feels good, and what feels right. In Hong Kong, they say all religions guide people to goodness, and so as long as it does the job, it's also okay to pick and choose from all that's available. These saints came to me to give me content that assists us, and I welcome them. Same for when the unicorn and phoenix came to me. I do not worship any of them, nor do I worship the Olympian gods or the Egyptian ones who have come to me with content too. They support us because they love us and because we're all part of the oneness. May you feel the oneness, always. Love, Stephanie said, the loving energy. Sitting with Saint Kyriaki, releasing frustration and welcoming new thought, is the latest addition to the Sitting with Our Divine Friends series. I was surprised when Saint Kyriaki came to me to guide me in making this video to be published on the 7th of July, and I was even more surprised when I found out that this was her feast day. I didn't know what to expect because I didn't know Saint Kyriaki before this video. It turned out that the theme of this guided meditation is actually a bit like that. This video has become one of my favorites. I'll put a link to this video in the description and the end screen of this video. Two, the Divine Reveal's Religion Stir Fry. The Divine Reveal TDR is a quantum health process that typically runs for 5 to 8 weeks, approximately 12 to 14 hours appointment time. Mocha Ahern was inspired by Anita Mujani's near-death experience, NDE, as detailed in her book Down to Be Me, to create this unique modality for bringing phenomenal transformation to committed individuals. All sessions are conducted online via Zoom. The first 2 steps of the TDR process, the TDR introductory session and Down to Be Me book discussion, are always free of charge, so that you will have necessary information to decide if and when you want to engage in the whole process. To read more about TDR or to schedule a TDR introductory session, please use the links in the description. If you enjoyed my Religion Stir Fry story, you will definitely enjoy Anita's book Dying to Be Me, because she too grew up in Hong Kong and experienced her own religion stir fry, even though she was brought up in Hinduism. She included many of her personal stories because she thought the emotional and psychological triggers that she carried contributed to her getting cancer, and she hoped that her stories could help her readers to identify these factors in their own life and thus reduce or even eliminate the chances of getting sick. During a Dying to Be Me book discussion session, we talk about details of Anita's life to familiar ourselves with the concept of limiting beliefs, how they came about, and how they could influence our lives. It was through reading this book and through the book discussion session I participated as a client that I realized how much fear I had because of what I heard from different religions growing up. For example, I had deep fear about doing bad things unintentionally because the Bible people talked about hell a lot. I didn't follow the religion, but the scary punishment tactic got to me somehow. By identifying it, I was able to choose my thoughts according to what I know through my learnings and knowing. Three, rather can believe is have, no can believe is not have. The thought of the moon cycle is 寧可信其有，不可信其無. Rather can believe is have, no can believe is not have. I think the biggest religious group in Hong Kong is neither the Bible readers nor the incense inserters. It is the group who live by 寧可信其有，不可信其無. Rather can believe is have, no can believe is not have, which is a folk saying that tells us when faced with uncertainty, it is better to believe in its existence and prepare in advance than to miss out or take unnecessary risks by denying it. I asked my mom why we offered our meal and alcohol to our ancestors and the spirit of the land and space, and if they could really receive it. My mom said, rather can believe is have. At my uncle's funeral, we folded a lot of George paper into gold ingots and then burned them along with a paper house, paper clothes, and other paper replicas of daily necessities. I asked my mom if my uncle could really use these. My mom said, rather can believe is have. But then, when we moved to another flat and the building committee forbade people from putting shrines outside their flat, my mom decided that we would not have any shrine and we would stop inserting incense. She said either we do everything or none at all. I asked what about rather can believe is have. Mom said, 百無禁忌, 100 without prohibition taboo, which means there are no restrictions, rules or superstitious boundaries to worry about. People say this a lot during Chinese New Year when we must say only auspicious things. When a person accidentally says something inauspicious or someone breaks something by accident, they or someone nearby will say 百無禁忌, as if it can ward off all bad luck. From my many years of observation, my mom chooses to say rather can believe is have or 100 without prohibition taboo, depending on her mood. In the end, I don't think it matters much about what we do. It matters more what we think. During this moon cycle, notice if you live by the spirit of rather can believe is have, no can believe is not have, or 100 without prohibition taboo, and how they affect your decision making. Tehuti, Akashic Record Soul Agreement Augmentation Guided Meditation is the first video for a new series in the temple realms of the Egyptian gods guided meditation. I'm very excited about it, even though I've practiced Sekhem, which originated from ancient Egypt for over a decade now. I'm not familiar with the Egyptian god, and I was surprised when Tehuti came to me. The information that came through during the making of this video was quite strange. It started as usual, with Tehuti telling me he was going to show me a journey. He told me the theme, he showed me the Akashic library, and I saw how people were making scrolls for record keeping. But when I was drafting the script, he told me that the Akashic library didn't exist because the records didn't need a structure to house them. So now the video says to see the library, although it doesn't exist. I wonder if there's a mind twister that makes people go deeper into the experience. If it is, it certainly works for me. I've done this guided meditation 13 times now, and every time I slip into a deep trance during the healing portion of this video. Whether you think you have any soul agreements that need changing, you might benefit from this video just for the healing. I'll put a link to this video in the description and the end screen of this video. Four, Sekhem Pyramid Transmission, Edition, Faith. Many years ago, before I started learning any healing modalities, I told a friend I wanted to open my third eye. I didn't know what it meant, I was simply fascinated. In Hong Kong, we grew up in superstition, ghost movies and super kung fu drama series that showed us the unseen realm was full of evils and therefore terrifying. My friend was worried about me, and she promptly called her friend who was a feng shui man to talk me out of it. "Why do you want to open your third eye?" the feng shui man asked. "I don't know. Seems like a good idea." "You don't need to open your third eye in order to see. My third eye is not open and I can see a lot. If you choose to open your third eye, before you do that, I suggest that you have a faith because you will see all sorts of things." "What do you mean, faith?" I asked. "To have a faith, like to follow a religion." Feng Shui man told me since he became a Christian, he found peace despite what he could see. I was puzzled by this. I thought to be a Feng Shui man was a very Chinese thing, and people who are very Chinese do not do Bible. I was wrong. This third eye business turned out to be problematic. You see, I didn't like the Bible God. His people liked to canvass others on the street and tell them they should join the group or else it was hell for eternity. "Are you suggesting that I should become a Christian?" I asked. Maybe he wanted to recruit me like the Bible people on the street. "No, any religion could do. Just have a faith." He was with the all religion guides us to goodness people. Out of all the things I imagined one must do in order to open their third eye, I didn't think of this faith thing. I didn't like the idea of religion. and I was with the rather can't believe it's half philosophy on this one, so I dropped the idea. But one thing led to another. I attended liturgy services at an Orthodox church while living in Melbourne, and then enjoyed it so much that I went to their Bible class, and the priest there even prepared me to be baptized. I don't know if my third eye is open or not, but I can see when the spirits want me to, and I understand now what the feng shui man meant about having a faith. For me, it is not so much about following a religion, but to know that the divine is in us and all around us, and we are loved. This proved to be especially important when, for example, I had to deal with entities' attachments, or when I assisted people who were about to die. Here's a preview of the very soon to be released video, Athena, Wisdom, from the new series, In the Presence of the Olympian Gods. The morning after I finished receiving teachings for the Love and Money Manifestation Foundation series, Athena gave me a surprise visit and informed me that I would start a series featuring Olympian gods. She surprised me further when she pressed her very large finger onto my forehead to activate my third eye. My forehead actually hurt even after the meditation. I wonder if your forehead will hurt too should you join Athena in this guided meditation, which will be published in a couple of hours. Meanwhile, here's a playlist of the Love and Money Manifestation Foundation's guided meditation series. There are 15 chapters in total, and we are up to chapter 4 right now. The remaining chapters will be released every Friday. If my work supports you, you can support me back through Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal. Thank you. I put a link to the Love and Money Manifestation Foundation's guided meditation series, my Buy Me a Coffee page, and my PayPal page in the description. Sekhem pyramid transmission started when an idea came to me to share Sekhem in a simple way. It is not how I normally facilitate a Sekhem treatment. What I do with Sekhem pyramid transmission is that I channel a certain amount of Sekhem energy for you. I also create a pyramid for you as sacred place to be placed around you when you are receiving the transmission. My Divine Spirit team fills the pyramid with elements and colors according to the moon cycle's collective energy needs. You can receive this transmission at your convenience during this moon cycle. Here's what you need to do in order to receive this transmission. 1. Get comfortable by either sitting with your back supported or lying down on your back for relaxation and circulation. 2. Give intention to the effect of, I would like to receive the horse issue number 6, Sekhem pyramid transmission now, to my highest good and will. 3. Relax for about half an hour. That's it. This time, my Divine Spirit team filled the pyramid with the vibration of rose and horse. Look up the properties of these items if you feel drawn to. You may or may not feel anything. It's fine. Having sensation is not a requirement. The only requirement is that you're willing to receive. Please remember to say, to my highest good and will, so you know you are in control. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. I would love to hear about your experience. If you want to share the gift of Sekhem pyramid transmission with your friends, please send them the link to subscribe for the Loving Energy newsletter. The link can be found in the description. Five. I follow myself. The You Are Amazing affirmation of this moon cycle is, I follow myself. When I was in university, I was depressed. One of my happiness plans was to start a religion. I observed people who were members of Christian groups. They seemed so sure of themselves, their beliefs, and they all seemed so happy. Years ago, a girl who belonged to one of these groups told me about a 3-on-3 basketball competition her group organized. Every team had to send one of their players to the meeting to draw lots. Everyone in my team said no way, so I went myself. A man, maybe a pastor, welcomed me and a few others who were there for the competition. He said the lot drawing would be at the end of the meeting. How long was the meeting again? 4 hours. The first hour or so was a bit like Bible class at school. The obvious difference was that people seemed interested in what the man had to say, whereas at school, we pretended we were listening. At least the man wasn't telling me about my future in hell. If he was, I wasn't listening. Then there was this tricky part where we were praying together. It wasn't like at school where we recited prayers that we memorized. There was some of that, but then everyone was invited to chip in, and many did. The man specifically invited us, the newcomers, to chip in, and I felt like I should. But no, it was too weird. I opened my eyes from time to time and saw people were really into that. I felt I should be like that, but I just couldn't. After that, everyone was so happy, and they were even happier when the men announced that they were going to celebrate a few members' birthdays. Birthday cakes were brought out. There were more prayers and then a lot of good wishes, and they cut the cakes. I would much rather that they did the draw, but cakes, yes please. Actually, no thanks. There were no plates nor cutlery. People held rages of cakes in their bare hands, and they fed each other cakes. And they didn't just feed the person next to them. No, they walked around the room, and they fed everyone they came across. Birthday cakes were very white because of the cream, and people's faces and hands were white. I know it was cream, but in that moment I thought it was blood. Don't ask me why, but I felt I was in a horror film. Instead of the angelic cake sharing that they probably were going for, I felt they were cannibals eating a dead body. I glanced at the few people who were there only because of the competition. They looked as horrified as I was. But they were so happy. The girl who told me about the competition was always so happy. I wanted to be like them. So I thought I would start a religion with rules that I like, and there would be no cake sharing or hand-holding kind of nonsense. I opened a new page in my notebook, and I wrote, Religion, name to be determined. Rules, 1. I took my time. The first rule must be the most important one. I got it. I wrote, you must not follow anyone. There, I got it. A brilliant one. You must not follow anyone. Wait, that means no one's going to follow me or my religion. And that was the end of my religious pursuit. During this moon cycle, say, I follow myself daily and often, and see how much happier you become. We have reached the end of the horse issue number 6. The next issue will arrive at your mailbox on the 13th of August, Thursday, which is the first day of the 7th month in the Chinese calendar. Yes, the next new moon day.